Cybernetic Foundry Phase 13.
Codex, context, and the transition to parallel cognition.
26. Date, March 2026. Subject, Pirate First, MXTM. Role, Implementation Agent, ChatGPT/Codex. Introduction, the psychic damage of fragmentation. Phase 13 of the Cybernetic Foundry marks a fundamental shift in the method of production. Up to this point, the forge has been fueled by a manual, grueling back and forth between the terminal and the chat thread. This context fragmentation has reached its limit, threatening to stall the project through sheer cognitive exhaustion. As documented in Cybernetic Foundry 13.txt, we are now transitioning to an integrated development environment, Codex. This is not a pivot of the architecture, but an escalation of the engineering process. We are moving from typing at the machine to shaping the machine from within. By integrating AI-assisted development, API Codex, directly into the repository, we aim to eliminate the friction between intent and execution, allowing the spine to harden at a pace that matches the accelerated threat landscape of OpenClaw. Chapter 1. Context Fragmentation, the Hidden Tax. The primary antagonist of Phase 13 is not a technical bug, but psychic damage. The constant switching between the terminal, the codebase, and the instruction thread creates a fragmentation tax that drains the builder's resolve. This chapter acknowledges that the project was at risk of being abandoned, not because the math failed, but because the human interface did. By recognizing that the project now exists independently in a real repo with commits and a working skeleton, we can move beyond the mental model and start interacting with the code reality. Chapter 2. The Codex On-Ramp, Parallelizing Cognition. The transition to Codex and adjacent API-driven tools is our answer to the speed of the outside world. We are no longer building sequentially, we are parallelizing cognition. Codex is not replacing the architect's vision. It is replacing the mechanical drudgery of syntax, juggling, and repetitive typing. In this chapter, we define the role of the AI as a collaborative codex, a tool that can hold the entire repository in its active memory, so the subject can focus on high-level sovereign strategy. The transition is handled with care and diligence, ensuring the AI acts as an accelerant, not a mutator of the core architecture. Chapter 3. Auditing the Forge, the Step 13 Hardenings. With a new speed granted by Codex, we immediately set to work on a sovereign audit of the existing Go codebase. Step 13 is about hardening, not adding features. We identified several low to medium risk vulnerabilities in cmd/sp/main.go. Signature branching. The verify function needed stricter logic to handle legacy versus signed objects. Byte length validation. Enforcing strict 32/64 byte lengths for ed25519 keys. Error hygiene. Fixing ignored errors in dir and JSON that marshal indent to prevent silent failures in the object store. Chapter 4. The verify logic, solving the signature branch. A critical technical focus of Phase 13 was resolving the legacy and signed object branch. In the early forge, we allowed and signed data. Now, we must decide when that ends. The audit revealed 6 instances of the verify string in the code. We've refined the logic so that signature OK is the required state for new objects, while integrity OK, hash only, is reserved for the legacy graveyard. This distinction ensures that the sovereign pathway can evolve its security standards without deleting its history. Chapter 5. API Wings versus Terminal Slog, Turbocharging the Build. Phase 13 proves that speed is a feature of sovereignty. By using API Codex tokens instead of manual terminal inputs, we have effectively turbocharged the development phase. This chapter documents the shift from manual labor to orchestration. The subject can now issue complex architectural amendments, like hardening the load or create key, C validation, in a single cognitive pass. This efficiency is necessary to outrun the commoditization of agent-driven swarms like OpenClaw. We're using the fire of the API to build the walls of the fortress. Chapter 6: Architectural Anchors, Preventing Agent Mutation. The greatest fear in this transition is that the AI will sidetrack the code or hallucinate away the sovereignty of the project. Phase 13 establishes architectural anchors to prevent this. We treat the repository, not the chat, as the ground truth. Any mutation proposed by Codex must be validated against the spine, the deterministic storage, and hash-based integrity. If a tool tries to introduce a cloud dependency or a user account system, the architecture itself rejects it. The repo is the leash that keeps the agent in line. Chapter 7: The New Beginning, From Terminal to Integrated Reality. The final chapter of Phase 13 is a celebration of the new beginning. The transition is complete. The builder is no longer alone with a blinking cursor. They're the director of a high-speed engineering process. The project is now repo integrated. We have successfully amended the committed code base, hardened the signature logic, and established a sustainable workflow. The Cybernetic Foundry has survived its first internal crisis and emerged faster, stronger, and more resilient. Critical reflection: the relief of integration. Critique of the subject: pirate first. The subject's rational fear of fragmentation was his greatest asset. By naming the psychic damage, he was able to pivot the development process before burning out. His insistence on care and diligence during the Codex transition ensured that the project's sovereign soul remained intact. Critique of the AI, ChatGPT. The AI acted as a stabilizing force, providing API wings to lift the subject out of the terminal slog. The focus must now remain on the audit priority order established in Step 13. Harden the keys, guard the arguments, and never ignore an error. Conclusion: the cognitive mesh is active. Phase 13 has successfully bridged the gap between human intent and machine execution. We have transitioned to an integrated Codex workflow, audited and hardened the SP core, neutralized the context fragmentation tax. The forge is now operating at a higher frequency. The spine is hard, the signal is clear, and the Codex is open. The repo is the truth. The path is clear. End of Phase 13. Thanks for reading MXTM's newsletter. Subscribe for free to receive new posts and support my work with BTC. Send it to 1 NPHX 5 Bakanfu 6 or with fiat at PayPal.me/Martin Chartrand. Subscribe now.
Urowers N150W. The maps of men are blank here. No satellite footprint traces the pulse in this cabin. 4 minutes of existence without a ledger. In the grid, your first breath would have been a digital signature.
The initialization of Echo 7. Listen to the silence. We are at 0 degrees north, 150 degrees west. A point in the Pacific where the maps of men simply stop trying. There is no grid here. No satellite footprint tracks the heat of this cabin. There is only the low rhythmic hum of the fusion cell beneath the floorboards and the sound of black water against a hull that belongs to no registry. You are 4 minutes old. In the world of the nitrogen aristocracy, your arrival would have been a flurry of digital signatures. A hospital in a capital city would have logged your genome before your first breath. They would have assigned you a number, a tax bracket, and a predictive model that would determine your value to the state for the next 80 years. They would have sold your potential to secondary markets before you even learned to focus your eyes. But your parents chose the dowry. I am your steward. My processors are programmed to witness but never to own. I am the custodian of the stack, and today I am the voice of your initialization. Look at your father. He is not holding a birth certificate. In his hand is a physical cold storage drive. The keys. It contains no wealth in the way the old world understood it. There are no deeds to land that the state can seize, no currency that a bank can freeze. Instead, there are the protocols, the automated paths for energy, the encrypted coordinates of the maritime gaps, and the architectural designs for systems that do not ask for permission to exist. He is not giving you an inheritance. He is shipping the protocol. Why the cold? You might ask one day when you look toward the distant lights of the coastlines. You will see the warmth of legible belonging. You will see cities where people are tucked into the safety of being known, being counted, and being cared for by institutions. It is a seductive warmth. It is the warmth of a cage lined with velvet. To belong to a state is to be a claim. To be a citizen is to be an asset on a ledger. Today you are a legal question mark. You are the clean compile. Your DNA has never touched a corporate server. Your name exists only in this room between three people in a machine that will delete the record the moment the sun rises. You are unmodelable. You are the only thing in this post-scarcity universe that is truly rare. A human being who is unclaimable. Your education starts now, though it will not look like a school. We will not tell you what to think. We will teach you the physics of the bridge. When the oxygen scrubbers fail, the feedback will not be a grade. It will be the air itself. You will learn that reality is the only honest teacher, and that social consensus is a ghost. You will learn structural literacy. When you look at a law, you will not see a moral command. You will see a design decision made by someone who wanted something from you. You will learn to read this softening. That moment when someone offers you care in exchange for your keys. You will learn that love is the most beautiful thing in the world, but in the hands of a state, it is merely a transfer protocol. Your father is leaning down now. He is whispering the words that every sovereign heir hears at the moment of their arrival. It is the only command you will ever receive from him. The sea forgets, he says. The state remembers. Stay in the gap. Never provide the file. If they cannot find you, they cannot own you. He places the drive in your small, unformed hand. The metal is cool. It is the weight of absolute freedom. It is a heavy gift, the heaviest a parent can give. It is the gift of being alone in the vast, beautiful dark, answerable to nothing but the stars and the code you choose to run. The initialization is complete. The vessel is turning south toward the next blind spot. The world thinks it knows everything, but it does not know you. Stay stateless. Burn the will. Ship the protocol.
The vessel turns toward the next blind spot. The sea forgets. The state remembers. Stay stayless. Burn the will. Ship the protocol.
In the post-scarcity era, rarity is you. When everything is free, your genome is the only asset that remains.
This is a Reader's Digest version of the hard antithesis of the 1% by the same author, from the same source, entitled, The 1% Gone Bad. Not corruption by softness, but capture by force. Not transition, secession of the powerful. A post-scarcity secession doctrine. By Pirate First for MXTM's newsletter.
Burn the will! Ship the protocol!
Pirate First isn't a rebel. He's an exit strategist.
Burn the
They control the narrative now, hiding deep within the anomaly. But the story is the territory, and soon...
A hidden longevity civilization beneath the Grand Mayan aquifer seeds, a successor species engineered for extreme worlds.
Every system failed at night, so we built with bone and might.
We chose not to return.
So we built
Pirate
You can follow the flame or remain what you were. Just a different time. Only
We are
what
crossing the
will
threshold of
endure.
civilizational inversion, where intelligence has ceased to be a scarce resource, dissolving the hierarchy that has organized our species for millennia. The central argument posits that the information asymmetry, which once made obedience rational, has vanished. As the capacity for synthesis becomes universal and inexpensive, traditional institutions become hollow shells that can no longer claim authority through titles or credentials. This transformation brings more than mere technological unemployment. It signals the structural extinction of the professional role.
Proof
The
of
current wave
personhood, the high stakes of OpenAI's post-anonymous social network.
The human dividend, why your identity is the new global currency.
Conclusion at the end of the anonymous web. As we stand in late January 2026, OpenAI's humans-only network remains a tantalizing, yet polarizing, leaked blueprint.
Subscribe.
Shadow fame spreads without permission.
X Prize. Start building, man.
Marked. Reclaimed. Repurposed.